Hello guys, time for scary videos. Today with a creepy shadow encounter in Kent's basement and an eerie CCTV recording which might have captured an apparition. Now let's buckle up and stay frosty. The following is an interesting clip that has been uploaded by StayRB to the paranormal section of Reddit. The user states that he grew up around his grandparents, who were the owners of a local pub. People always said that this pub was haunted, and some even stated that they saw ghosts in there themselves. Today, RB is sharing a short clip that he could get from the camera of the place. He states, "This is a small clip I have on my phone from the pub's camera. It's showing the man who used to follow me in my grandparents' pub. My grandma always said the pub was haunted, so I'm going with ghost. No one else would have been there at the time in the morning." We can see somebody peeking around the corner here. Pretty creepy, to be honest. His family does believe that this was indeed a paranormal encounter. Of course, there's no proof for this claim. Maybe it was just a creepy guy. But why would anybody do this if it wasn't a staged incident, of course? Who can say? Now we want to take a look at one of Kent's recent videos, in which he's sharing an event that took place during an investigation by another paranormal team, which was visiting the Lamb House to conduct their own little paranormal investigation. The basement is filled with tons of negative energy, as I can attest myself, and the air always feels thick. One of the female investigators is trying to contact whatever is living down there.
Talk to you.
Are you guys down here? What's the matter?
Something just hit the back of my leg.
Are you guys down here?
Janice thought a rock was thrown at the back of her leg. After carefully looking over the recordings, nothing hit the back of her leg. Nothing landed on the floor behind her. But right before the back of her leg was hit, we see something in the recording that is quite troubling. A skull face with deep dark eye sockets.
Something seems to have touched her leg, and it almost looks like a face is peeking through the floor here, doesn't it? Is it actually the same shadow entity that was peeking from behind the staircase one day? Shortly after the lady had been touched, one of the stationary cameras also captured this.
Do something. Push me. Play with my hair. Okay? Come on. Oh. Something push me. Oh. Something push me. Holy, that was 10 times the force I felt.
A black shadow is making it into the hole, not to be seen again for the night.
There are some who question the validity of these Lamb House encounters and underestimate the reality of these spirits. I warn people who come to the Lamb House, do not provoke these spirits. When I first started these investigations, I too underestimated what would happen if these spirits were provoked. I learned by my mistakes not to provoke these spirits. And you don't always know what you're dealing with in this basement. This is not the first time a strange anomaly has been captured in the Lamb House. This exact entity has appeared before.
Again, was it the same thing that had touched her leg? Very creepy indeed. The This video was shared by user AliOops. It was captured by the surveillance camera of a friend, which was overseeing the backyard area. The video was captured in the midst of night, and nobody was around at the time of the recording apparently. He asks Reddit, "Can you debunk this?" Captured on a friend's surveillance feed. Now, it's interesting that this door would be open in the midst of night with nobody around though, right? But we can clearly see somebody moving outside of the house before it pops up in the door frame and then it retracts. The user believes this to be a ghost, but if that's not the case, was it simply a camera malfunction? It is really weird though that we can see the object outside of the house, I find. Well, I couldn't say for sure what was unfolding here, but it makes me wonder, to say the least. The following is another CCTV recording, which was captured on a ship which was sailing off the coast of Somalia this past September. Security saw some strange balls of light at first, but didn't think anything of it. Nobody was moving in the lower area of the ship at the time for security reasons, as they were making it over the border. The area was pitch black at the time. But then something really unusual unfolded. We see a person manifesting, but how's that possible? It looks like a dark cloud is forming, and then the person appears. Many of the crew were sure that a mysterious event was transpiring here. Of course, they didn't see anybody leaving the area at the time, on any of the other cameras. So, do we have to assume that a ghost was visiting that night? User Oh My God Jazz has shared the next capture to the paranormal Reddit section. My university teacher showed me this photo that was displayed in one of our campus buildings. There is an old mine near our university where the photo was originally taken. Can you see him? It's hard to not notice this face peeking out from one of the pillars in the back. The staff states that this could be a spirit from the olden days that used to work in these old mines. What do you think? A strange light reflection, lens flare of some sorts, or a visitor from the afterlife? Now we want to take a look at an update from paranormal enthusiast Signs and Signals. In the past, they had traveled to an old haunted church one night, and they came across a really creepy looking shadow person peeking from behind the corner. Almost a year later, they venture out to the same church to see if whatever was visiting them that night still remains in there. And it didn't take long until really weird things started to unfold.
What?
Bro. Nah. See, I went through all this before. Nah. We just need to stop coming back here, man. Come on. Nah, I'm good.
Poltergeist activity is a common sign for a strong otherworldly presence. Apparently this church was also home to several rituals that people conducted in the past. A bit later, they captured this.
We've seen you in here before. We know that you're in here. And you know that we know that you're in here.
are you here?
Was this the infamous shadow from the past? Who knows, but it got even a little bit more creepy.
Let's just go into the main area.
Yeah, go see where.
It always shows itself whenever we go in there.
You heard the voice from like out here. It wasn't from back here. It's from...
It sounded like it was from somewhere else in here. It wasn't like in the hall.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know, that's what I'm saying. It's just gonna run over there. That's what you don't care.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Hey, what the hell was that? David!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
After something was seemingly running at them, they come across this shadow just sitting there and watching them. Was it perhaps playing tricks on them? It is very likely. I invite you to check their whole investigation out on Signs and Signals. The following is a recording which was shared by user Cam. She was recording a fun dance tonight for her profile and had some of her family and friends over. All in all, it was a really enjoyable evening, but one of her friends noticed that something seemed off with this video. It almost appears as if a creepy face can be seen in the mirror behind the woman. They stated that this was not a reflection of something else and that this normally isn't there. So, was it something from another realm, or is it just pareidoia? Robin Skirvin has shared the following really odd encounter that apparently was recorded by the CCTV camera right in front of their workplace. It also looked like something was manifesting out of thin air.
Let's see, hang on, it's gonna pull up here in just a second. Okay, there it is right there. Watch. It goes all the way across the camera. Now that you know where it's at, I'll pull out a little bit and just watch this thing. It goes all the way across. And there's not a light because there is no light back there behind. You can see up on the hill back there, there's no light there. There's nobody over here, but it's still going across the camera. You can't see it as much now, but it's there.
So, what was Robin seeing that night? Was it merely a strange light that was transmitted from a car or an object from the back? Or was something floating or possibly walking by here? It left them quite a bit baffled, he said. Now we check out another Reddit submission from user MGirl. The young woman suspects that the security camera in her grandma's bedroom, in which her little kid was having a sleepover one night, captured a spirit which was visiting her little son. She states, "This was years ago and the camera wasn't high resolution and choppy, and I was never sent the video by my aunt. She only shared this picture." My grandma had passed away a few months prior, and I believe her spirit was comforting my son that night. You can see her as she looked around the time she passed, the varicose veins and her easily bruised lady skin, covered with bruises due to her blood thinner meds, her hair not done, and the same muumuu nightgown my grandma wore often. So, could the young woman be right, and her son was visited by the spirit of her late grandma? This is a recording from user Short and Stout Guy, who on his channel is sharing quite a few paranormal investigations that can be described as quite intriguing. This night he had received a stationary CCTV recording from a client of his. He states, in this case the owners had reported a small child-sized entity that would, at times, pick out at them from around the corner down the hallway. The group had set up its base at the end of this hallway to the left. If you watch the doorway at the end of the hall, the night vision camera recorded what appears to be a dark shape that forms and leans out to take a look down at the team and then pulls back in. Is it an entity? The camera is not the best, which is why it's pretty hard to make out facial features, but it is undeniable that something was peeking out the doorway here. Was it paranormal or something else? You decide. Now we want to check out a new paranormal clip which was shared by user MacLeod. He had shared quite the number of crazy poltergeist events in the past years, and some people have mistakenly called him out for being a faker. However, they oftentimes don't realize that in the video where he was wearing a green suit, he was simply showing that it would be impossible for him to fake all of the crazy activity in his home. One of the most interesting encounters this year had unfolded in the storage part of his house. Take a good look. A shadow entity is clearly appearing from the right corner, besides tons of other poltergeist activity that seems to be pretty common around his property. But what do you believe? I have no explanation at what we are looking at here exactly. Pretty eerie.